Hello. I invite you to continue our series of calm reflections on the book Our Home by André Luiz, a spiritual account of life after death and the maturation of consciousness. Chapter 13 is titled In the Minister's Office. This chapter marks a clear shift in the narrative. Not through new locations, not through dramatic events, but through a confrontation with responsibility. As André's health continues to improve, a familiar feeling begins to awaken within him. The need for movement, the need for work, the need to be useful. After long years of struggle and helplessness, the desire for activity returns, not driven by ambition, but by the search for meaning. Surrounded by suffering spirits in the hospital, André experiences a painful limitation. He cannot help. He cannot heal. He cannot even serve as a simple nurse. And it is precisely then that he understands something essential. In the spiritual world, medicine does not begin with titles or academic knowledge. It begins in the heart, in love, in the capacity for service. Even the simplest nurse in our home possesses knowledge and abilities far beyond André's earthly experience. This realization becomes a difficult, yet purifying lesson in humility. In this inner conflict, Luiz advises André to seek Clarencio, the Minister of Assistance, not to ask for privileges, but for guidance. André awaits the meeting with hope, but also with uncertainty. When he finally arrives at the minister's office, he is not alone. Audiences are held jointly. Clarencio receives petitioners in pairs, so that the guidance offered to one may serve many. This alone is already a lesson. In the spiritual world, time is not spent on private dramas. If they can become collective learning. An elderly woman speaks first. A mother, overwhelmed by longing for her children still living on earth. She asks for permission to protect them. She does not question divine justice, yet she cannot silence the pain of her heart. Clarencio listens with deep kindness, but without yielding to emotion. He asks one clear and concrete question. How many hours of work has she offered to the colony? The answer is striking. After 6 years, only a few hundred hours of service. The minister calmly recalls all the opportunities she had received. Service in communication, work in regeneration, assistance in nursing, research tasks in enlightenment. Each one was rejected as too difficult, too unpleasant, too demanding. In every task she saw a burden, never a path. And then Clarencio speaks. One of the most important teachings of this chapter. One cannot help without cooperation. One cannot protect without first building bonds of service. One cannot expect support without first offering it to others. Help is not born from emotion. It is born from work. Love without action remains only a desire, and desire without effort builds no bridges. This chapter shows clearly, in the spiritual world, There is no protection without merit. Not as punishment, but as a law of balance. Clarencio explains that to truly help her children, the woman would first need to learn endurance, to learn service, to learn cooperation. Otherwise, she would return to earth like a paralyzed mother, full of love, but unable to act. The help we receive comes from those whom we ourselves have helped before. This is not judgment. It is the mechanism of life. After this conversation ends, the minister turns toward André and invites him to come closer. At this moment, observation ends, and the personal path begins. Chapter 13 teaches a difficult truth: that in the spiritual world, intentions are not enough, that the desire to do good must be supported by daily, humble work. It also teaches that true help does not consist in rescuing loved ones from experience, but in developing ourselves so that we may become real support. Are we able to accept that love without effort does not change reality? Are we ready to work first where we have been placed before asking for greater tasks? In the next chapter, we will see how André begins to understand what service truly means, not as an idea, but as daily practice. See you soon.